Welcome back to the Power of Now mini-series. I'm Juanita Woodson. This is episode 3, When Waiting is No Longer the Assignment. And I wanted to share something personal with you today because sometimes God uses the simplest moments to remind us of much bigger truths. So this past Christmas, I really didn't ask for much. Honestly, I rarely do. I get things throughout the year. But there was one thing I mentioned, a Stanley Cup. Just one simple request. So on Christmas Eve, my husband was running around trying to find a cup, and he was able to get one. He found one on Christmas Eve. So Christmas Day, I got my cup. But what he forgot was that he had actually ordered one online. So the next day, the day after Christmas, another cup showed up. And I thought that was it. And then another package arrived. To my surprise, my little sister had also ordered me a Stanley Cup. So 3 cups, 1 ask. And in that moment, God reminded me of something deeper. How often do we hesitate to ask? How often do we downplay what God has placed inside of us or sit in what we know we're called to do, waiting for perfect timing or clearer confirmation? But obedience isn't about having everything figured out. It's about moving when God nudges you. So that moment took me straight to scripture. John chapter 6, the story of 5 loaves and 2 fish. What looked small in the hands of a boy became more than enough once it was placed in Jesus' hand. The miracle didn't start with abundance. It started with obedience. So if I would have never asked for 1 cup, I would have missed the move of God. And that's what I want you to hear today. Sometimes what you're holding feels unfinished. Sometimes your next step feels unclear. Sometimes it feels quiet. But silence does not mean stagnation. God can multiply what you're willing to move with now. Let me give you a real life example. So Ashley Shepherd, I want to give Ashley a shout out. She just launched her new podcast. I call her the pre-order GOAT. She teaches authors how to build profitable pre-orders. But when it was time for her to launch her own podcast, she knew she needed support. She booked one of my comprehensive podcast trainings because she was ready to move. She had watched me successfully launch several podcasts, and instead of overthinking, she acted. And she launched. And that's what happens when you respond to the nudge instead of sitting in silence. This message is especially for my authors and for anyone building something God placed on their heart. If you've written the book but feel stuck, if you're sitting on the idea, if you keep telling yourself soon, this is your moment. Act on one thing today. Send the email, book the consultation, write the outline, press record. Power isn't in waiting. Power is in obedience. Power is in responding when God says move. So here's my question for you. Where is God asking you to move right now? Not next month. Not when it feels perfect. Now. Because sometimes God isn't withholding the next step. He's waiting on your yes. I'll see you in the next episode of The Power of Now.